You're listening to Mind, Body, Home with your host, Sara Ann. Last week, I held a winter workshop for those in my seasonal alignment practice community. If you've been listening here more recently, you have certainly heard me talking about it. It is an annual membership for women seeking more alignment, ritual, and connection to not only their self, but also their homes. Now, I shared a lot in that workshop. And I have a few things that I wanted to highlight from it that I'm going to share with you today. But before I jump into that, just a few things that I do want to mention. First, I've extended the $97 enrollment until December 31st. So if this is something you have been thinking about, now is the time to join. This membership will go up in price in 2026. And so I really want you to get in now. That way, you're grandfathered in at that rate as long as you choose to stay with us. So, this membership is not going to be made available for enrollment again until the fall of 2026. And, what does it mean to be grandfathered? If you re enroll into the practice again at that time, you are locked in at the $97 rate, regardless of what I raise it to, which right now is looking like $297 for the year. Now, if you sign up today, you're also going to receive instant access to the previous workshops. So, like I mentioned, I just did winter last week, and there was a fall and late summer workshop as well. Plus, any of the resources that have been shared with the group so far, you will also get access to immediately. Now, these resources, even though they are seasonally aligned, they are still relevant season to season. I've put together things like self care practices and home rituals and seasonal maintenance checklists. There's a lot more coming. In addition to our spring and summer live workshops, I'm also going to be hosting a Lunar New Year celebration in 2026 to help us welcome in the new energy of the year. We have a 1 year coming up. We're just now closing out a 9 year cycle. We also have the year of the horse, the fire horse. And so I'm going to be sharing more on that. Plus, you're also going to receive a winter reflection worksheet and seed planting guide. Winter is the season for planting new seeds that we want to see grow in the coming year. And so we're going to be sharing and cheering each other on and nurturing those seeds all year long. And that's really at the heart of the seasonal alignment practice. We're not just setting goals in January and hoping for the best. Okay. We are staying aligned with them. We are nurturing them. We're holding ourselves accountable in community with myself and others, all doing the same thing. So now is the time to join. I think this is a lovely gift to yourself. This is a lovely way to step into the new year. The link to more information and to join is down in today's show notes. And my second announcement is that the podcast will be on break through the end of January. As you'll hear in a moment, the winter season and the water element both ask us to reflect and reset. So that is what I'm doing intentionally because, there's a lot of things percolating with Mind, Body, Home. A lot of things are calling for my attention. And so I'm taking some time away to help sort out direction and next steps. Now, my plan is to return in February before the Lunar New Year, but you never know what you might be guided towards. I'm really leaning into the energy of the season and following what is being asked of me. And that requires going inward, asking questions, listening for the answer. Only those answers can be heard in the stillness. And I think that's actually a beautiful segue into today's conversation. So, we just had the winter solstice on Sunday. If you are in the northern hemisphere, it is the winter solstice. In the southern hemisphere, they are experiencing the summer solstice. Either way, solstice represents a turning point, a transition period from the dark to the light, or vice versa, the transition point from one to the other. Now, since I'm in the north and I know that a good majority of the audience here is as well, Today, we're talking primarily of the winter solstice, as that is the season we are in now. But it's important to also remember that nature is always striving for balance. So, the opposite of winter is summer, and we still need heat in the winter to stay warm. During the summer, we also require ways to cool off. So, the duality of both is important to understand and simply necessary for nature's survival. But beyond the solstice and our transition toward warmer days, we are also coming up to the end of the year, one that has a powerful energetic quality of endings, having been a 9 year. I did past episodes on numerology, specifically a 9 year. You can go back to those and listen. We also had the year of the snake. So, shedding what no longer fits has also been a strong theme this year. And so, overall, this year has just felt, I think, really heavy for a multitude of reasons, right? The obvious politically, globally, socially, talking on a larger scale, right? But I even think just in our own little worlds, our own bubbles, there's been a lot of heaviness that I think people are carrying around. So, if you've never taken time to really go inward or reflect on your year or even the last several years, this is a year that I really encourage you to do so. And, it doesn't have to be before January 1st. The winter season, the water element, it's supporting you now through January and even into February as well. I mentioned in the workshop that in order to receive answers, the abundance, the life we want, we have to first make space to reflect back, and then we reset. Reflecting back tells us what's no longer working, what was in the way, right? Abraham Hicks says that you can't know what you want without knowing what you don't want. So, reflection is step one. Resetting is then acknowledging what needs to be done differently and then asking for it clearly, right? The reflection process gives you that clarity. And from there, we open ourselves up to receiving without forcing the answer, without trying to figure out how it's all going to happen. The receiving part, however, requires trust and faith. It requires stillness and quiet. It requires you to become more present and to slow down. So, those are your actions this season, not staying busy, not trying to hit the ground running on January 1st. But how do you practice trust, faith, stillness, patience, slowing down? Will you intentionally create time for it by having smoother rhythms built into your day? You start your morning slowly and with more presence. You create an evening ritual so that you bring peace to your nervous system and you signal to your body it's time for rest. Diffusing oils and dimming the lights an hour before bed. Creating more sacred space in your bedroom or even just throughout your home by creating little peaceful pockets. That's what I like to call them. Maybe it's a cozy chair next to your window. It's coming home from work and lighting a candle or a stick of incense before moving into the kitchen to make dinner. It's carving out little space to meditate, to journal, or to do some yoga or gentle stretching. You cook and eat mindfully without the TV on or without constantly picking up your phone. This season calls for a slower pace, rooted in mindful living that begins when you wake up and is carried with you throughout the day until you go to bed. When we create space for more stillness, more presence, quiet, we are leaning into the energy of the water element. The water element is the death and rebirth in the cycle of life. In order to move towards that life we want, in order to know what is next for us, what's even possible for us, we need to slow down and lean into more mindful living. That is what this season asks of us. In the recent winter workshop, I went deeper into the mind body home practice and I offered specific ways to harness the energy of water this season. If there's one space I recommend that you really look at this season, it's going to be your bedroom. The bedroom itself represents you and your relationship to yourself. And so this season also calls for deep rest, right? It's a hibernation period for much of the natural world. So quality rest, warm, cozy bedding, decluttered, organized spaces, including under your bed, the tops of your nightstands and dressers, inside your drawers, the corners of your room, removing electronic devices, anything related to work, such as laptops and paperwork. All of this could be a point of focus for you this season. When we sleep well, we just function better, right? Our mental focus is sharper. Our stress levels can be better managed throughout the day. And because the bedroom represents you, how are you taking care of yourself? You can answer that question just by standing in the doorway and looking at your bedroom. Just notice what shouldn't be in there. And what does it reveal to you? Get really curious about your bedroom. Maybe you don't have clutter. Maybe your bedroom is actually quite sparse. Maybe it's lacking properly scaled furniture and art, or it has very little. What does that say to you? There's no right answer because it's going to be different for everyone, but getting curious this winter, cozying up your bedroom as much as possible is a really nice winter self-care ritual for you to do this season. If you do want to do a little decorating, you can bring in a balance of water and earth elements and perhaps a touch of fire. Fire can just simply be a few candles or just warmer lighting. I quite often have seen bright white light bulbs in bedside table lamps or in the overhead lighting. I recommend more soft, warm lighting in the bedroom with a few task lights and dimmable features. Water elements in decorating include black or dark navy, shapes that are wavy or curvy, any objects that are clear, reflective, glass, so things like mirrors. And you can add earth elements to also help warm up the space and contrast those cooler water elements. Remember the balance, the natural strive for balance here. So earthy colors are mustard yellows, terracottas, even, terracotta as in the color or even using materials made out of terracotta, so pottery and ceramics. Highly textured linens, wicker and rattan, all of those could be things to pull into the bedroom. Now, I'm not going to go too deep on this. I've done several episodes on bedrooms or elemental decorating, right? The point here is to give your bedroom some focus this season. Have a nighttime ritual to help you prioritize sleep, to help you prioritize stillness. Even if that's just sitting on the edge of your bed or on the floor in front of your nightstand, just somewhere to sit quietly for 5, 10, 15 minutes before bed or first thing in the morning. All to just invite a little more stillness into your day. When we get quiet, we can more easily hear the voice of our own inner wisdom, that voice that wants everything that is good for us and helps us take the next best step forward. If you need guidance on what to reflect on or what you can start asking, I have created a winter reflection and seed planting worksheet to help you move through this season and start leaning into your next. Now, that guide is only available for my seasonal alignment practice members. If you want access to that, in addition to more rituals that will support your mind, body, and home this season, the link to join us is in today's show notes. You'll receive it right away, along with the winter solstice guided visualization that I created and replays of the winter water workshop, and of course, past workshops from the fall sessions and other seasonal resources. My friends, what a year it has been for us all. Thank you for being a part of the Mind Body Home journey. Your review of the podcast helps keep me going. If you'd like to see the podcast continue, consider letting me know by leaving a positive review. Wishing you a beautiful holiday season and a quiet, intentional start to the new year. Until then, so much love and gratitude.